Gents, I'm going to be straight with you. There isn't really a good reason why any guy should own as many fragrances as I have. I've got hundreds in my collection. Over the last few years, I pretty much have become a fragrance addict. Now, I justify the spend with my accountant and my wife by telling them, yeah, it's for research purposes. But the reality is I'm probably just addicted to smelling something new. Now, with my collection approaching 500 fragrances and with there being 356 days in the year,
356 days in the year.
As you can see, I could easily go a year without wearing one of the fragrances in my collection. Having said that, there are some fragrances I just seem to gravitate towards that I've got down here that I seem to wear multiple times throughout the year whenever I'm just going out with my family, when I'm going out with friends, when I don't want to think but I want to smell good. I want something that just simply I love. Now, gentlemen, the first fragrance on this list is coming from the house of Tom Ford, and it's not Black Orchid Parfum. I've talked about this fragrance before. It's a nice fragrance, but I think the original EDP was even better. There was something that was lost in this one. Maybe it was the earthy, the notes, the truffle. I don't know what it is about this one. And let me be clear, this is definitely in my top 3 of all time. I've talked about how I love this fragrance, unisex, but this year I didn't wear it as much. Instead, I started wearing Tom Ford Noir Extreme. And the reason I was wearing this EDP is because I really wanted to understand this fragrance whenever I was going in and comparing it to the Parfum that had just come out. Now, because I kept wearing this, I kept forgetting actually go test and try this, it really grew on me. And I absolutely loved it. I realized how versatile this is, especially compared with Black Orchid. A lot of guys are just simply going to love this. That being said, I have to say the Parfum just won my heart this year. An absolutely beautiful fragrance, and it's one of the only new, well, there are a few other new releases, but this one right here is worth the money. Now, the top notes are cardamom, ginger, mandarin orange, neroli, and citrus. The middle notes, kulfi, orange blossom, Bulgarian rose, and jasmine. At the base, we have vanilla, suede, leather, amber, guaiac wood, tonka bean, and cedar. Now, if you've got the EDP, am I going to recommend you grab the Parfum? Not necessarily, but if you're looking at both, I would grab the Parfum. It's a little bit deeper, richer, stronger, which makes sense being a Parfum, but it also has, there's like a ginger note to it that just really separates it, and I can smell the difference. Usually isn't always the case. My nose isn't that great, but I have to say that I wish I had a bigger bottle of this versus what I've got here. But that being said, this one is beautiful as well, so if you can get this at a deal or on a discount, grab it. Now, if you're thinking this video is going to be all about new fragrances, you're wrong, because this next pick is the original. Now, there are many variations of this. You're going to see Infrared out there, which is a solid fragrance if you like cinnamon. Night Vision, this one got panned, and I have both the Parfum and the EDP. I think that both of them are solid fragrances. It's just a lot of people expected Spice Bomb to stick next to the original, and you're going to see a number of other influencers talking about the extreme version. A little bit more expensive, harder to find, but I'm going to simply say that the original Spice Bomb is a classic and is definitely one of my go-to fragrances. Now, the top notes on this fragrance are going to be pink pepper, bergamot, and grapefruit. In the middle, we've got cinnamon, saffron, paprika, and elamine. At the base, tobacco, leather, and vetiver. Now, please excuse the digital camouflage. This fragrance was actually sent to me by Victor and Rolf, and it was the first fragrance that I ever received from a company, one of the only ones. They don't really send me. I buy most of my fragrances. But this one right here, because I wore it so much, because my son wore it, it's just become, and we did it around the holiday season. So for me, and it does naturally have a smell of Christmas. That spicy, it's an oriental fragrance. Maybe it's that elamine, which is a resin, and I don't know, it just gives me the smell of almost church-like, and it just reminds me of the holidays. Absolutely love it. This is one you can wear to the club. This is one you can wear as an everyday. Just don't overdo it because it is strong. So my first 2 picks are deep, rich, heavier fragrances. Perfect for the cold weather. What if you want something for the tropics, for vacation? I've got 2 fragrances right here, and I'm going to first mention Creed's Virgin Island Water. This one right here, I was a latecomer to it. It was one of the last Creed fragrances I picked up. They're expensive. It's similar to most Creed fragrances. It doesn't last very long. It's very light, airy, but that coconut note just really made me love this fragrance. I took it with me to Puerto Rico and absolutely loved it. Just reminded me of my vacation. Now, the note breakout at the top is coconut. We've got lime, white bergamot, Sicilian mandarin. In the middle, we've got ginger, yang yang, Indian jasmine, and hibiscus. At the base, the white rum, sugarcane, and musk. milk. Now, it takes about 15 sprays, but I do pick up the rum and sugar at the base. It didn't last too long, and I have to found that I was looking for an alternative, and I found it. And when I say alternative, I would say it's just something on the other side of the world. For me, this is about my Hawaii vacation, and that's going to be Lowe's Paul's Ibiza. Correction, Ibiza. Come on, guys. I try. And I've actually never been to the Greek islands. So now with Paul's Ibiza, the top notes are going to be galbanum, coconut, mandarin orange. In the middle, driftwood, narcissus, frangipani. At the base, ambergris, patchouli, and bourbon vanilla. Now it seems like half those notes I've never had in any fragrance. But that combination, this stuff is beautiful. One of the best summer fragrances I've ever owned. It's not going to replace the Creed, the whole Puerto Rico vibe, but this is definitely more energy, more fun, and it's still, a pricey fragrance, but it is cheaper than Creed. Oh, and the longevity is actually pretty good, and the bottle is pretty cool for a unisex fragrance. Now, speaking of vacation scents, what if you don't want that coconut note? Really turns you off. There are tons of options out there. I've talked about this one in the past. I had a love affair with Creed fragrances. They were the first ones I went out and bought pretty much all of them, spent a lot of money, and Erolfo was the one that surprised me because I usually put it number one on my Creed fragrances. It's just a mix of melon with the citrus. This just smells like you're on the Mediterranean on a yacht. Absolutely loved it. That being said, it doesn't have much staying power, so it's going to take a hit. I'm not going to put it in my top 1%, and I almost put Acqua di Gio Profumo Special Blend. This one smoky, darker than the original Acqua di Gio. And the special blend, this one Jeremy Fragrance gave me when I was visiting him in Germany, and it really kind of almost got me on my entire fragrance journey. Now, the regular Profumo, I ended up buying this one because it basically has the same smell as the special blend, and I didn't want to use up that entire other bottle, so I bought this one as a backup. But it's the Profondo that I personally would be my go-to. I wasn't expecting much. I'd read it had more of aquatic notes to it. I went to California this summer with my daughters, and this was the fragrance that I took because it reminds me of the smell of the ocean. What's interesting is ocean smell often has a bit of decay in it. Yes, you've got, animals that have probably, or fish that have washed up, and there's just a smell of the ocean. That being said, there's something nostalgic about it that draws me to this. This one definitely has that smell, and I'm not saying it's a bad smell of decay. I'm not even going to go there. Point being is when you look at the notes on this one, at the top, we've got C notes, aquazone, bergamot, green mandarin. In the middle, rosemary, cypress, lavender, mastic. At the base, we've got mineral notes, musk, patchouli, and amber. The master perfumer, Alberto Mariz, knew what he was doing when he put this together. This is the most aquatic of all the Acqua di Gios, and you can really tell if it's too much for you, then grab the lights version of it, which I think is a fine fragrance, a little bit more on the citrus, less on the oceanic smells. But for me, this one, it's got great longevity too, so I am going to put this in my top 1%. Now, some of you guys are saying, come on, Antonio, enough of all these designer fragrances. Give me something niche. Okay, so this one is not going to be on the list. I picked it up the other day, and really nice one from Tom Ford, but as soon as I smelt it, I'm like, I've smelt something similar except better before. So the notes here, what really drew was the incense with the smoke. I'm like, this smells like midnight mass. Again, I grew up Catholic, and I remember going to midnight mass. Zaharoff Poem. This one I've got 2 bottles of. I'm already on my second bottle. I had a love affair with this one. I forgot about it for a while, pulled it back as soon as I went to that Tom Ford Ebon Fume. This one is better in my opinion, and it's actually more affordable, and from a niche house and a good friend of mine, George Zaharoff. What I like about this fragrance, again, it's not going to be for everyone. Get your nose on it, maybe get a sample. I know he sends out like free samples if you reach out to him. What he put together here for me just reminds me of growing up in West Texas, going to Our Lady of Guadalupe Church at midnight, just having the priest go up and down with the all the different incenses and stuff. This one just takes me back. Absolutely love it. Great for the holidays. Now, if you're watching this and thinking, Antonio, I'm a complete hedonist. I don't care about church or smelling like it. Give me something good. Well, I've talked about Carlisle by Parfums de Marly before. To me, this is the perfect sweater. It's the patchouli. It's just the sweetness. There's the wood with this. This thing right here is also strong. I really love this fragrance. That being said, there were a couple others from Parfums de Marly that I was gravitating towards. So Latent Exclusive. Speaking of beginning, this one just has sex appeal. Maybe it's the oud in there. There's something dirty about this thing. You know how you're going out, have a few drinks, didn't expect anything, hook up with that girl that you probably shouldn't have. She's got the tattoos, but man, you have a night to remember, and how you smell that night that was amazing yet dirty. Yeah. That's this fragrance right here. And on a side note, if any of my friends or family watch this video, what I just described has never happened to me. It was in my imagination. But seriously, gents, sometimes you want to wear something that's a bit animalistic. Now, I've talked about Yves Saint Laurent's Koros, a great option. But for me, a little bit classier, we got Antaeus, the whole Greek guy that wrestled Hercules, and the way that Hercules beat him is he was able to lift him off the ground, which his connection to Earth, the Earth was his mother, and was able to pin him. I think he actually killed him up in the air, broke his neck or something. In any case, Chanel named a fragrance after him, and this is animalistic, strong, over the top. This will put hair on your chest, and I absolutely love it. That being said, if you want another classic that is going to scream attention and just is a lot lighter gasoline mixed in with a leather jacket while you're mowing the lawn, that is Fahrenheit. Now, there's a few other options out there. There's the perfume version. This one right here is the classic EDT. I think this is fine. Now, a lot of people are going to complain it's not as strong as it used to be. That's probably a good thing. If you put on, 3 sprays of this back in the 80s, you could light a match next to you and you light on fire. This stuff is powerful, even in its weaker version. That being said, it definitely is something I don't think a lot of younger guys have the courage to pull this off. So if you're in your 20s, you've heard about this fragrance, you might as well start rocking it because it's amazing. Now, speaking of Dior, if you're not familiar with this house, they make some of the best fragrances, bar none. I mean, Sauvage, the original Sauvage from the 60s. Let's just say that Sauvage is the #1 seller for a reason. But one of the fragrances that frag heads talk about all the time is Dior Homme Intense. And the lipstick, the iris, a lot of people just absolutely love it. I actually was a latecomer to this fragrance, and instead I checked out a different house, and that's going to be Givenchy. So you've probably walked in and you see all these gentlemen. If you see it at Ulta or Sephora, it can be kind of confusing. There are tons of flankers. There's a slight difference, but these are going to be powdery. They're going to use iris, and they are incredibly versatile. It's one of the reasons I love these fragrances, and they grew on me. That being said, I didn't want to go with something that was, I find, kind of boring, just that lipstick thing. I wanted a little bit of spice in there. Now, there were 2 releases in the last couple years, and either one would be a solid pick, in my opinion. They've got more of a wood element, and in the case of Reserve Privé, I feel it's got a little bit of a boozy note, and I really like it. So for that reason, the Reserve Privé, and I've been wearing a lot of these this year, trying to better understand them, but this one, the latest version that just came out in 2022, I think is a solid pick, and it's easy to find at a lot of box stores. Now, guys, throughout this video, you're hearing my opinion, but I want to hear yours down in the comments below. What is your top 1% fragrance? What is the fragrance that is your go-to, you absolutely love, that you think every guy needs to own? Oh, and if you're enjoying today's video, and if you think Creed Aventus is just way overpriced for what you get, guys, do me a favor and smash the like button. I mean, it's a good fragrance, but is it worth the money? That's up for debate. Now, gents, as I'm here talking about fragrances, wouldn't it be cool if there were performance-enhancing colognes? I'm talking about perfumes that when you wore them, all of a sudden you would feel more confident. You would feel more honorable. You would feel like, hey, I'm going to commit to actually doing what I want to do, whether it be losing weight, whether it be running a triathlon. Guys, guess what? You don't have to imagine. I've built them. The performance-enhancing colognes over at Mission Fragrances. So these are specifically formulated to help you get into the zone, to help you reach peak performance through scent conditioning. If this sounds at all interesting, guys, down in the description of today's video, I'm linking over to Mission Fragrances where you can learn more. We're going to ask for your email address, and I'm going to send you more information. So my journey is I collected hundreds of fragrances, and I love the way that they make me feel. But I kept finding all this research, because I studied the science of style, about how fragrances have proven to do this, do that. I mean, even the trucking industry was using certain notes to keep truckers awake. And I'm like, wait a minute, why isn't anyone developing a set of fragrances that are specifically formulated to help men reach peak performance? So that if you got to give a presentation, your boss's boss, guess what? You wear courage because you've conditioned yourself to feel more courageous when you wear this. Or if you want to be more honorable when you're traveling, when you just simply want to stand for your ideals, or you want to be more committed, again, to accomplishing the goals. Guys, we've designed these fragrances in a way, and there's a whole course that goes with these that teaches you how to use them so that you can become the man you know yourself to be. Again, if this all sounds interesting, check out the link down in the description of today's video, or just type in Mission Fragrances, you'll find us. But we only launch a few times a year because I give white glove customer service. I want to make sure that I can actually give live training, and I can only run so many guys through this. And again, if this at all sounds interesting, click on that link in the description of today's video. Now, it seems like no top 1% fragrance list would be complete without talking about Creed Aventus. This is, in many people's minds, the gold standard when it comes to high-end men's fragrances. For better or worse, a lot of fragrances are compared to it, but I get it. A lot of people think it's overrated. It is a solid fragrance, and it was the first expensive fragrance I ever bought, which just goes to show the gold standard. You want to buy it and go through the experience, smell it, and really try to formulate your own opinion. That being said, if you're over it, you're like, you know what, Creed Aventus, you're going out the window. I need something that still fits the bill, but I'm not going to buy into you anymore. Guys, check out Bond No. 9's The Scent of Peace. This one right here, an absolutely beautiful fragrance. It's got some similar notes, but it is a very different fragrance. And what I love about this, incredibly versatile. The top notes: pineapple, juniper berry, bergamot, middle note, currant buds. The base, cedar and vetiver. It's got great longevity. It smells natural. It works perfect in hot weather. And yeah, it's just a banger of a fragrance. If you want something even lighter, you don't want that whole pineapple note, but you want a fruity aromatic, check out Dior's Higher. This one, it's interesting. Past, really high temperatures, we're talking 100 degrees, Fahrenheit, maybe, almost close to 40 degrees Celsius. This one actually really shines at hot temperatures. A lot of fragrances can become cloying, overpowering. This one has a bit of sweetness to it. It lasts, and it is just light, a little bit harder to find. Came out in 2001. Top notes are going to be pear, basil, lemon, and peach. Middle notes: cypress, rosemary, cardamom, and pepper. At the base, we've got musk and cedar. It's a beautiful, simple, aromatic, woody fragrance not a lot of people talk about, and for me is high on my list. Now, what about Gourmand? So Mugler does it really well with their Amen line, and I'm not going to bash them. It's just they're a little bit too synthetic for me. I wanted something that smelled like the real deal. Kilian is where it's at. If you can stomach his prices for the small bottle, I'd have to say get some samples. These are amazing fragrances. My two favorites, if you've watched some of my videos, you've probably seen them pop up, but we've got Apple Brandy. This one is so unique. I don't drink alcohol anymore, but when I smell this, my mouth waters. It's that good. I overspray this thing. It's amazing. And the other one is going to be Back in Black. Or Black, no, this is Black Phantom. Back in Black, that's an AC/DC song, which I think, did he do a Back in Black? I can't remember. Let's just say that if you ever get into a Kilian store, be prepared for your wallet to hurt, but you're going to find an amazing set of Gourmand fragrances. And these ones, right here, Black Phantom, this has a chocolate note to it, caramel, and it just, my mouth is watering just thinking about this one. Again, with these heavier fragrances, such as the new Sauvage Elixir, I'm not going to put it in my top 1%, but it definitely was one of the best fragrances to come out this last year and worth getting your nose on. It's coming out with larger bottles finally, but the licorice note on this, and Gourmands, these heavier fragrances, they're perfect for the fall, winter, a cool spring. You don't want to wear these heavier fragrances during the summer unless, maybe you could pull out that Apple Brandy during a cool summer day. Now, one thing I will say about buying a lot of fragrances is you go to these discounters and you start seeing all these vintage fragrances that maybe have been reformulated, but you want to try them anyway. You can get them for, a swan song, and they are good. Egoist is one I've talked about in the past. Chanel, this is a classic. They've got the platinum version, but I really like the original. This one was so versatile. It was nice. It had a little bit of the other one maybe had more of a metallic to it. The platinum, as the name implies, but this one was a little bit harsher, and I liked it. Yeah, it's just a really nice barbershop-like fragrance that just has an old school type of feel to it. But I get it that not a lot of people want to go maybe old school. You're a younger guy, you want to try something new. So check out H24. This one was panned by a lot of the critics, and I know there's a new one that just came out. It's on the way. I'll probably put out a video on my Centeno channel, which if you type it into Google, I've got a whole YouTube channel just for fragrances. But this one right here came out in 2021. I grabbed it, and it took a while. It grew on me, but this year I've been wearing the heck out of it. Absolutely love the metal notes. There's just something about it. When you look at the note breakout, you've got clary sage, narcissus, rosewood, and scarlet. So in a nutshell, it's basically a linear fragrance. But when you wear this, there's just something magic. I don't know what it is about Hermes and all their fragrances. Terre d'Hermes is the same thing, which came so close to making it on this list. But no, this one right here is absolutely amazing. I'll easily put this in my top 1%. It's such a versatile fragrance, and for some reason reminds me of the gun range. And a really quick shout out to a couple niche fragrances. We've got Vivamore by Navitus Parfums, and we've got Gravitas by Naughton and Wilson. My friend Dan, Mr. Smelly, he put this one out. Both of these fragrances, what I love about this one's going to be more towards, if you like Creed Aventus, but you want something a little bit sweeter, something strong, similar to the Scent of Peace. this one is going to fill that niche. It's really got great longevity. Right here, if you enjoy Bois de Portugal by Creed, but you want something a little bit stronger, an old school type of barbershop fragrance, give this one a shot. Really nice lavender note, just a beautiful, solid fragrance here. So what video to watch next? How about how you're messing up when it comes to applying a fragrance? Seriously, gents, I break it out here, how to apply fragrance the right way. So many guys mess this up step by step. And even if you've been applying fragrances for decades, I think you're going to learn something new in this video. So go check it out. It's a good one.